speak. I'm not too sure whether they have invited me to speak over here because I'm a DGE or because I have the domain knowledge of this vocational service that I'm going to share with you. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm going to just walk around because rather than staying at the rostrum there. I'm glad that the district governor just now mentioned earlier on that vocational service has not been in the limelight of Rotary as much as the community service and as well as membership, right? And the other services. And yet, this actually comes as the second service avenue in Rotary. It has always been overshadowed by the activities of the other services. And yet, this vocational service is actually so important because membership in Rotary is based on vocation, which is depending on your classifications. And in fact, this is one of the key differentiating factors that determines the difference between us as Rotarian and other service organizations. And yet, we have not actually highlighted this in the manner that it should have been to deserve the proper recognition. So what I'm going to do over here is, I'm just going to run through very briefly with you on the very basic about vocational service so that perhaps we get everybody on par. And I'm glad that these four banners, the two banners on the left and on the right, actually play a very prominent and in fact is basically the heart of the vocational service that I'm going to talk about for the next 20 minutes. And next year, by the way, the incoming district vocational service chair is past President Jun Jonet. She will be giving me the opportunity to work with her. And we are going to take the vocational service from where it is this year and bring it up to a different format. And we're going to open up the vocational service seminar to non-Rotarians and take the vocational service avenues as part of a PR exercise to promote Rotary to other non-Rotarians. And we're going to call it outside speakers as well. One of them that we're making association with TED Singapore, TED. If you go to Google and look for TED, TED, there are a lot of speakers, very good speakers. You have a look at it, right? So, now, this vocational service comes from the Latin word vocare. I'm not too sure whether the pronunciation is correct. Vocare. What does it mean? To call. And how does it relate to your vocation? Any idea? It is actually the vocation calling you to contribute your talents, your expertise, because the Rotarians are supposed to be leaders in their own vocations, right? And spread the richness of our success to fellow Rotarians and to non-Rotarians. Got that so far? Okay. Now, how many of you knows about the object of Rotary? Don't look at those banners. The object of Rotary, I'm sure you must have heard about this, the object of Rotary. Right? Let me just quickly let you know that this is philosophical statements. The purpose for Rotarians to be, Rotary's purpose, and guiding the Rotarians in terms of responsibilities. And therefore, this, to me, the object of Rotary is the heart of how the way we should behave in terms of business, family, and professional life. And if you look at this philosophical statement, this is a very powerful, statement. There are four items over here. I let you have some time to perhaps read it through and tell me which of the four statements the vocational service is closely related to. Who said that? You're not supposed to say it. Second, okay. Dr. Tariq here. Second. Why? Second, huh? This one. It's something to do with our vocation. Correct? And what are the key words there? Our ethical standards. And what does that mean? Closely related to that, yes. And is this only in Rotary matters? High ethical standards in Rotary? In your business. And are we doing it? Oh, I'm glad you say yes.
I'm very hard.
And in fact, In fact, if all Rotarians can really adopt this and practice this, this could be a shining example that makes the difference between business and professionals who are Rotarians than those who are not Rotarians. You can imagine if you have Rotarians who are unscrupulous in their business dealings, and they call themselves Rotarians, and they are non-Rotarians who knows that as a Rotarian you must have high ethical standards in all your vocations. You are in conflict and you are giving confusing signals between what you say and what you do. And same thing again with Rotary's mission and objectives when they say that Rotary is non-religious, non-political, but when you do community project, you are focusing to one community in one race. Now, you may not have ulterior motive, but what will be the people in the public see you? You are not consistent with what you say. And therefore we have to be very, very careful. The behavior of Rotarians in business, professional and family matters will reflect the integrity and high ethical standards of our Rotarians. So very correctly, yes, it is related to number 2. And you have answered that. And we did talk about item number 2, the key points, high ethical standards in business and professions, and recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignification of vocation as an opportunity to serve the society. And very often you do this by doing, the common one is vocational service awards, but actually they are just more than that. In fact, in my discussion with June John next year, what we want to do is we want to encourage what we call Rotary Hour. Hour as time, right? Whereby we are going to encourage Rotarians and non-Rotarians perhaps to contribute certain part number of perhaps few hours in a month to contribute their vocation to help the needy. If you are a lawyer, you perhaps said, in 1 month I want to provide 5 hours to provide legal services to the needy at no charge. And for those who are in, for instance, in eye, as an ophthalmologist, you can provide eye screening for maybe 10 patients. This is something that we want to do. And we want to provide a sticker that they can stick onto their workplace, and even the name card that shows that they are Rotary Hour. They are participants of the Rotary Hour. So this is one of the ways, the initiative that we want to do. And when we talk about vocational service, the 2 things that arising from the object of Rotary are, number 1, vocational service, and the other one is integrity and ethics. We talked just now about integrity and ethics. Now, I mentioned just now about membership classification being the key differentiating factor between Rotarians and non-Rotarians. And in particular, if you talk about this integrity and ethics, if all the Rotarians adopt high ethical standards in their day-to-day life, right? Can I then equate this integrity to ethical behavior as the ideal Rotarians? Can you have integrity without ethics? High ethics. Can you? No. You cannot. Why? How many of you disagree with President Rajano? Nobody does. You cannot be unethical, and yet you call yourself, you have a lot of high level of integrity. These are very closely related. Alright? You must have high ethical standards, ethical in your behavior, then only people can say you have high integrity. I respect you. Okay? And there are 2 standards developed for Rotarians to help you achieve this integrity and high ethical standards. One is the 4-way test, and the other one is the Rotary conduct. You all know about the 4-way test, right? How many of you sincerely actually practice this? Who else? Is it easy to practice? Is it? Very difficult. Is this in conflict with your religious belief? No? None, right? And that's the reason why sometimes I am puzzled why the Muslim ulamas are saying that Rotary is part of the Zionist movement. And Rotary is not for the Muslims. When what we do and what we actually practice is not in conflict with the religious belief of Islam. And the Rotary Code of Conduct and the 4-way test actually provides a roadmap and guidelines for Rotarians in terms of behavior, ethical behavior in the workplace and other related areas as well. Now this is something to do about the 4-way test. I got to go through very quickly because we are running out of time. It was actually first conceived in 1932 by Herbert Taylor. And at that time when this was conceived, he was not even having high-ranking office in Rotary International. He was only the Rotary International president in 1954-55. And yet the 4-way test was conceived 22 years before he became RI president. And how was this come about? This came about when they used this principle to implement as a guiding factor in the behavior of all the employees for a company that was nearly going bankrupt. And of course, after the implementation of this 4-way test, the company actually survived. Otherwise, I don't think so the 4-way test would be living up to its life right now. Right? So there must be some goodness about this. That's why Rotary International has actually adopted this. And that is the 4-way test. You can see from here as well, the banner. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Okay. And the Rotary Code of Conduct, this was formerly known as the Rotarians Declaration in Business and Professions, is now known as Rotary Code of Conduct. It is a framework for ethical behavior to guide the Rotarians. And in fact, the details are here. The Rotary Code of Conduct. I have it on the slide. Just read it to you. Number 1, exemplify the core value of integrity in all behavior and activities. Use my vocational experience and talents to serve in Rotary. Conduct all my personal business and professional affairs ethically, encouraging and fostering high ethical standards as an example to others. Be fair in all dealings with others and treat them with the respect due to them as fellow human beings, be it in Rotary or your business. Promote recognition and respect for all occupations which are useful in society. Offer my vocational talents to provide opportunities for young people to work for the relief of special needs of others and to improve the quality of life in my community. Honor the trust that Rotary and fellow Rotarians provide and not do anything that will bring disfavor or reflect adversely on Rotary or fellow Rotarians. And one last one, very important, not seek from a fellow Rotarian a privilege or advantage not normally accorded to others in a business or professional relationship. So, if you're buying a car from me, and you're expecting me to give a discount, I never give discount to my customer. So don't get disappointed when I say no. You don't treat me as a Rotarian. And also, one other very closely standards is actually the Guide to Daily Living. This was actually the brainchild of DGE Dr. Gilbert Chin. Right? If you look at the 4-way test as interpersonal fellowship, this Guide to Daily Living is for your intrapersonal fellowship. Again, what has been adopted here is not in conflict with any religious belief. Right? And I understand that at one time we tried to put this to RI, right? And for what reason? It was not adopted, and our district has continuously actually taken this into consideration and implement it and publish it in various documents and so forth. Right? And this, the first item is touched on something to do with leadership, fellowship on number 2, and then integrity as number 3, and then number 4 is on service and diversity. And they are inconsistent with Rotary. The other part about advancing high ethical standards is perhaps discuss and emphasize honesty, accountability, and fairness in your workplace. As an example, I have the situation in the company whereby a particular staff did something wrong. So the manager reported to me, right? But I'm only hearing from one side. So what I did was I issued a short post letter to the employee, asking the employee and giving the employee an opportunity to tell their side of the story. Right? Now, had you just listened to your manager and discipline your staff or penalize your staff, and when your staff think that your staff has done nothing wrong, that could have a detrimental effect, not only on you as a person, as a boss, but the name of your company. Imagine when this staff resigns from your company and start spreading all the bad things about your company and about you. There is a saying that dissatisfied customers will often tell a lot of people. But satisfied customers normally keep quiet. Right? So, and there is also a saying that says that it is more expensive for you to get new customers than keeping the existing ones. So, I think you would have, in the context of Rotary, you would have agreed with me that it is easier to keep the current members of Rotary in your club than finding new members. It's more expensive because when you find new members coming into your club, number one, there's a risk on both sides, whether they can get along with the existing members, right? And whether this particular person can be groomed eventually to contribute to Rotary and to the club, and to the community. And when a person or the employee actually does something good, then maybe you should also give proper recognition so that this particular person can be an example to the rest of the colleagues and in the workplace. And the other part is demonstrate your personal commitment to high ethical standards, right? To customers, vendors, business associates, and treating each business relations with care and consideration. If only we can do this, and if only these are done by Rotarians, this could be a shining example and a good way to promote Rotary to the non-Rotarians. Because Rotarians, they are leaders in their vocation, therefore they are talented, right? They are actually creative. They have a lot of experience, and as a result, with the leadership that they have in their own vocation, they can actually inspire the lives and brighten up the lives of the people that they associated with. So I hope with that, I can actually summarize the differentiating factor about Rotary and Rotarians through vocational service. And that is all that I have to share with you. And I hope that is very enlightening and something for you to reflect. Thank you very much.